undo the delete key. A real writer knows when to hit the delete key. Do you know how hard it is to say delete key, delete key, delete key? That's a tough word. I picked a really good name, didn't I? So today I want to review the movie Run, Hide, Fight. And this is, I'm going to be referring to my computer every now and then for some stuff, so I may be looking down. Anyway, just wanted to warn you, I'm not going to use any footage. I don't want to get in all that copyright stuff. Sorry, if you want to know, go look it up. That's what I did. How Run, Hide, Fight ripped off Jurassic Park, Die Hard, the Hunger Games, and just was the worst movie I think I've seen in a very long time. This movie makes me so mad because of all the stuff they really mess up on. Really mess up on. However, I did read some other people's reviews, because I'll do that, and I posted some that I liked below, and I found one review that talked about the movie Elephant. Elephant was created in 2003. So many reasons it's a badly done story, but I will get to that as well, because there's a really good comparison. But let's talk a little bit about Jurassic Park. How did it rip off Jurassic Park? I don't know. Spoilers here. Let's see, the hiding in the kitchen scene, climbing into the ductwork scene. What was the other one? Oh, I just kept getting these visions of Jurassic Park. I don't know why. It was so crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's a scene right out of Jurassic Park. However, I will tell you one thing. The scene where she is climbing up on the ducts and everything. I'll tell you, this is a spoiler, so just be prepared. I was going to watch this movie again so that I could get more precise comments going, and I could say precisely what minute of the show this was happening, but no. That whole thing, I did do some research on that a long time ago for my book, not to give anything away. I was researching, can a person actually climb on a ductwork? And I learned a lot about how ductworks were installed. And there's a theory that you can climb on them because typically they're attached to a pretty good structure. So they will hold some weight, limited amount of weight. But I was really impressed with how she dispersed her weight. Good job there, because those are the things when I was doing my research, how that would work. And that would be a thing. But yeah, do you know how strong you have to be to climb up in that ceiling? I mean, that is crazy. So yeah, I didn't buy any of that. What was the other? Okay, it was the bathroom. Yeah. Oh! Jurassic Park ripoff. Ellie Sattler hurt her leg, hobbling around. What is, like, I knew it was a moment where she's walking down the hall or something. Ellie Sattler moment. Die Hard, you know, I've got the person who just like lucks into this battle going on, and they get to come and be the hero. Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. And I will tell you why I didn't buy anything with that story. And it's because at the very beginning, they were deer hunting. Okay, first of all, if you live in the South, which I'm gathering they're sort of mid-central to southern. I don't think there's really a town or state mentioned in here. But you kind of get that impression they're in the South. So, yeah, most people who live in the South, they take their children hunting since they were like 3. If you're a hunter, chances are your child has been hunting since it could hold a gun and walk. Yeah, that she was a senior in high school just now learning how to shoot a gun, I don't buy. I just don't, because I hate to admit it, you know, we were teaching our sons very young how to shoot a gun. We don't hunt. I like to hunt for food at my grocery store because I just do. If you're familiar or have done any research after suffering through watching that movie, then you know that they shot a real deer on camera, that they actually killed a deer for that. And they used the excuse that Texas is overpopulated with deer, because they're filming in Texas, and this is true. And I lived in Del Rio, Texas, and they do have a lot of deer. I recall pulling out of my neighborhood and over to the main highway, and there would be, during deer season, there would be all these trucks going by with all these $100,000 rigs of, you know, deer blinds and all this. Speaking of Jurassic Park, looked like something out of Jurassic Park 2. Oh, so that would be the Lost World. All right, yeah. So this deer has a full rack. And so if it has a full rack, then that tells me it was shot, and which would be in the fall. It's in the fall. Deer season's in the fall. I don't know of any deer season that's in the spring. I could consult the internet here. Is there a spring deer season for deer? And you know, I actually did that, and I kept getting when everybody in every state's deer season was, and yeah, nobody said spring. It was all fall, and there's reasons for that. So that was really frustrating because they point out that it's spring. How do we know it's spring? I don't know. Because it's going to be the prom, and that's usually held in the spring. So, and then he does make the comment, this will keep us fed for the summer. So she's got this fancy rifle and fancy scope on it, and she misses the deer. Oh, didn't do a kill shot. Okay, once again in the South, yeah, you practice. You practice. Because this is like really rude to shoot a deer and not hit it and make it suffer, like he's saying in the opening. Oh, it was to prove a point. Come on. Yeah. So, yeah, so lame. So lame. So writers, why am I talking to writers about this? Don't write this stuff. Don't write lame work. If your work is lame, and mine is kind of lame too, but yeah, call me on it because I don't want to write lame stuff. I don't. I really don't want to write bad work. I have nothing better to do than to make a good script or make a good book. So why would I put anything out that was this horribly written? All right, so let's talk about something that worked and didn't work, because there's a lot of stuff that didn't work, but I want to talk about some things that work. There's a story that's going on in this movie about how the girl is dealing with her mother's death. Is it important to this movie? Absolutely not. It means nothing to this movie, unless it's the only thing the dead mother was there for were to say run, hide, fight. That's so cheesy. It's just so cheesy. I almost have to do like a cheesy rank, you know, like 4 cheeses or something. Yeah, that's cheesy. So I will say this though. That would have made a beautiful short film. In fact, I felt like they took a really good story and they stuck it in this movie, thinking it would make this movie better. And it did not work, and you ruined a perfectly good movie. So I can see a story about a young person who's dealing with their mother's death. I love the way it was done. I love that they went from the mother being sick and getting better and better and better and looking prettier and prettier and pretty as the daughter lets go. Because I get it that the daughter was holding on to this vision of her mother as she was dying. I watched my father die, and it is a process to get back to not seeing your dad, your loved one, die, and have that as your memory. Be fearful that that's going to be your only memory of them getting emotional, and then you have to go back and look at them when they were beautiful. So don't get me started. That's a beautiful story. A beautiful story. They totally ruined it, like sticking it in this horrible movie. Why is this movie so horrible, you ask? It's been done. It's the elephant. You gotta see that movie. You can watch that movie on YouTube. So there's really cheesy dialogue between the daughter and her dad. We have this thing, and if you're a writer, you know what it is where you're plugging in stuff to kind of, I call it exposition, not to get copyright laws violated there, but I call that exposition, right? That's it. Because you're, telling a story with the least amount of words as possible. So the dad has on a army shirt, that camo tan color sand, I guess it's called, whatever. So he's wearing that, and he says something about 0800. And you know what? In our schools around here, yeah, it is like we start school really early. I don't think we start school at 8 o'clock. We kind of start 7-ish, 7:45, so she would already be at school at 8 o'clock, I would like to think. But it's fantasy, I got it. So this is fantasy. Speaking of fantasy, totally ripped off Katniss. I guarantee you, the director was like, give me something that looks like Katniss. So they got a Katniss looking girl. She's adorable. She really is. And I will say, I hate that you wasted your talent on this movie, because you're really cute. And yeah. She's a very striking girl. So writers, let's talk about writing dialogue. This is where I'm going to come back to the elephant. The elephant in the room versus the deer. Dead deer. Hanging the wrong direction when you skin a deer. Okay, because I deer hunt, right? No, I don't even deer hunt, and I know how to do this. Why? Why is it? Oh, because I dated deer hunters. That's not how you hang a deer. It has to do with draining the blood out, so you know what? Look it up. That's not just. Trust me, that is not how you skin a deer. Don't even get me started. I can't stop once I get started. Okay, Elephant. What worked in this movie, and this was not a good movie. What I didn't like about Elephant, I should say, Elephant spent the entire time, in fact, I made a note. The movie is what did I make that note? Is 1 hour and like 5 minutes long, and they did not, yeah, they don't even start the end. It's at the end. The whole show is supposed to be the build-up. It is so bad. It is so, why? Why would you do that? In fact, there's this whole big, you could have made a 30-minute movie and it'd been great if you just got rid of all that stuff at the beginning. Kind of like with Run, Hide, Fight. Yeah, you don't have to do that. You just don't have to do it. You don't have to sit there and spoon feed your audience. Give your audience some credibility. Okay, I will admit I do have a higher IQ, and having a higher IQ, I can read some really complicated stuff and get some stuff out of it that other people probably don't get, but I don't write to those people either. If you do write to those people, that's cool. I don't like to have to spoon feed my readers. I don't want to be spoon fed, so I don't spoon feed my readers. So yeah, it's at the end of the movies when everything takes place, and they do all this stuff to build it up. It is very cliche, but I will give them credit on the Elephant. What they did, it's not the Elephant, it's just Elephant. What they did was let the actors actually ad-lib. And I can tell ad-libbing versus lines. You can always tell. And you can tell pretty decent ad-libbers. I think they just say, hey guys, y'all just talk about something, you kids. And so some of them would start out kind of fake, you know. And they're like, here's your topic, start talking about it. And they're like, okay, we're going to talk about this topic. And then as they started talking about the topic, well, then it got to be more real. And I thought, wow, we just worked a little bit harder with these kids. Maybe you could have given them some more try again, you know. That probably did. I wasn't there. I don't know. But that I did like. I actually liked they presented teens as teens. They talked like teens. They behaved like teens. Good job on that. It became the breakfast club of all these different personalities. You have different groups, different cliques or whatever you have in the school. Kind of delved into that way too deep. It didn't help the story along. It didn't. They tried to introduce you to characters. They put names of the characters up and then try to get you. And I understand what the goal was of that writer. They were trying to get the audience to have a reason to like these people that were fixing to die, because you know they're going to die because their name came up. Like, oh, they're going to die because they just foreshadowing, right? Yeah, don't do that. I think they wanted you to connect. Look, writers, this is the point. People care about high school kids. I don't care. They're annoying. They're teens, but you know, the losing their life, their young lives. You don't have to, once again, spoon feed your audience. They will like your characters. They will understand your characters. They're teenagers doing teenagers things. Serious 30 minutes of that movie, she'll just delete that stuff. It didn't work. It was just muddied it up so bad that I don't think people would get past the first 30 minutes. I'm like, I don't know, let them all die. It's just terrible. So in Run, Hide, Fight, it was another thing where you should have just jumped on ahead and left all that other stuff. Wasn't important. In fact, there is like the first maybe 15 minutes of the movie just telling you some kind of backstory thing, and you're like, what? Anyone who's taking any writing course, any screenwriting course, Save the Cat, you name it, everything says don't start a movie by just telling the story about, oh, hey, remember that time that we did such and such? Yeah, oh yeah, we did this and this and this, and then that happened? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't do that. Just let it happen naturally from a point, and don't let it tell the backstory. I'm just saying. So I thought that was just really bad writing, and I hate to say this, and boy, don't y'all, I know y'all gonna know me for this one, but it is a token black friend, gay friend, or whatever he is. I have a lot of really loving friends from all over, just all these different personalities. I collect people's personalities. I love it. Maybe it is the writer in me that you want to surround yourself with a lot of different personalities, because you really want to experience people, especially if you're going to write people. You should know what people are, because if you're hanging out with the same people over and over and you're not getting out and you're not meeting people, and I meet people in the weirdest ways about a lot of stuff, on Facebook and stuff like that. And I meet people all over the place doing that. And they bring me into their homes and they show me their stuff. And I love it because I could write characters just on the people I have met. In fact, I wrote a character in my book on someone that I met, and that personality and that home is kind of based on someone that I just randomly met. So read my book, The Kitchen Dance. I don't believe Zoe's a real person. I know teenagers because I raised a couple, and I also work in schools with a lot of high school students, and I know the personalities. I have a child just like yours for 55 minutes in class, and I will tell you one thing. I can tell them the same thing at the beginning of class every single day. I start all my classes the same way. I try to get the stuff before the bell rings, and then we go from there. And at the end of class, I say the same thing. I guarantee you they don't remember a thing I told them at the beginning of class at the end of class. And for this dad to go through this soliloquy about shooting a deer and killing a deer, I'm just sitting there going, this is the first minutes of the movie. I'm going, oh my gosh. That is so they can say that at the end. All right, children don't listen to their parents. Like, you know, if you have a teenage child, they don't hear half of what you say. And it's not their fault. Their brains are all over the place. But they're definitely not going to quote this long soliloquy that you apparently said while your teenager is out looking for a rock. They're not listening. They never listen. I love them. I love them so much. They're awesome. But they don't listen. So, no, she's not a real character. That's not a real person. And that bothers me. I mean, she's Katniss. Katniss is a superhuman, and they're trying to make Zoe into a superhuman. It's a fantasy movie. A good thing would have been for this child to do the right thing, and that would have been to go get help. And that is what you see in Elephant. The child goes to stop people and to find his dad because he's worried about his dad because his dad's kind of crazy. But that's another story. That's a weird movie. Just that. Cute kids, though. That's I do. A little kid plays John. He's adorable. Just adorable. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me tell you about how my classes run. Not that I'm a success every single day, but this is typically how it's supposed to go down. Kids come in, I introduce what the lesson's going to be about. They're using Chromebooks this year, so they're pulling up their stuff on the Chromebook. As they're pulling it out, I'm telling them what the assignment's going to be about. I have like a quote I read them that I said. Then I explain what the lesson's going to be about, and all this before the bell rings. So I try to have definitions, I try to knock all that out for the bell rings. And that is as they're coming, they just come in and sit down, and then they know. And so they're half listening as it is, but everything I'm reading to them is on their assignment. Okay. They do their assignment. I have an alarm that goes off when I remember to bring my phone to class because I have it on my phone. And it goes off 3 minutes before class is up. At that 3-minute point, they turn in their work and put up their chairs and they do their thing. Okay, I go off completely on this cliche that teachers are still giving, or in the middle of an assignment when the bell rings and says, oh, do your homework, don't forget you got a test tomorrow. Oh, you're making me cray. Literally cray. So knock it off. Don't write that stuff. If you're a writer for movies and stuff and play, don't do it. Please stop now. No more. Speaking of cliche, I am so offended that they had their, I don't know what you call that. We have, we do have officers from the sheriff's department who are at our schools. God love them. They're awesome. And they're in riot gear, I kid you not. They're fully dressed. Well, these are members of the sheriff's department. They're the bravest men I know and love, and I appreciate them. I'm glad they're there. I feel very comfortable coming to school. I teach at the best school anyway. If something like this were to happen at my school, I would be totally shocked because I feel like this is a school where no kid goes unnoticed or their needs aren't met. Not all schools are like this, and not all these principals who are, we have a very loving principal. Usually I feel like people, I was talking to this teacher who comes in to do some, specialty teacher, whatever she is. I don't know what she is. Speech therapist or something. Anyway, she comes in, she goes, I just love this school. This is the nicest school. I said, I know, right? And every sub that I know, I know people who will only sub at that school because they don't want to go to those other schools. And it's the best school. I'm spoiled. I can never teach anywhere else because I'm so spoiled. we at our school, well, I don't know. I can't say much about this school that I'm at right now. I'm not there half the day. Like, whatever happens in the morning, I'm oblivious to because I don't show up till 11:20. So I know from other schools where I've taught that we have the drills for active shooter drills. Yes, let's talk about Tristan. Best developed character ever. If you really want to write a good character, write them all like you wrote Tristan, guy. Whoever wrote this. This is what I do know about being a writer. They will change your script. They will change it all over the place. Written by, enter here. Hey, I'm not going to waste my time looking this up. Sorry. So, well-written character. But very stereotyped. God love him, leather jacket and all that. Why? You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to stereotype these characters. There were some brilliant kids, and I know these kids. I'm going to raise one of them, actually two of them. One's just a little more vocal than the other. My vocal one, brilliant. In fact, you know, if you had to do a group project, they wanted Ross on their group because they knew he would take charge and do a good job. He's that kind of kid. So this is like the ultimate guy you want in your group project because he gets things done. I like that he was very goal, oriented, motivated, and the things that he did were evil. It was a good writing, really good writing. Would a really young person actually have the whatever to get the lady to take her top off? Would he really be that bad? I'd like to think not, but for this movie, because it is fantasy after all. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. These are the unbelievable parts about this. No, he's not unbelievable. Let me just say this. If this was Tristan's idea, when I watched the very beginning and they were setting up the bombs, I thought, I understand why they did some of that opening scene just to set you up for that, to show them setting up the bombs. I don't even know if you have to see them setting up the bombs. I think you'll figure it out. Once again, spoon feeding your audience. But I liked the idea that you could have just said, we could have fixed that whole scene by just saying one line, did you get it done? Did you do that? Did you get it done? Did you do it right? Because they're kind of stupid anyway, because he's like, he can be like saying, seriously, you did everything I told you to do? Okay. So, I love that. The minute I saw that kid setting that up, I knew what was happening. Because see, I have taken way too many writing classes and read too many books, and now I ruin every movie I see and ruin it for everyone around me. I walk in and go, I'll give you an example. And I don't even know how the movie ends now. My husband and his friend were watching No Country for Old Men, and I was watching part of it, and I had a head migraine. So I said, I'm going to bed, but I know how this ends. And I'll tell you in the morning. And I did. And I did. And I knew. And I'd probably watched like not even half the movie. And I knew. Because I'm smart. So, that's how I'm educated. Let's just say, I am educated. Yeah, so just in the typical writing of a story, you don't have to spoon feed your readers or your viewers. You could just say something really quick like, hey, you know what? You save money on your movie too, because then you're not setting up a whole nother scene. But yeah, I love that. That was a brilliant idea. The minute I saw those kids setting that up in the field, I went, and then that barn, I said, oh my gosh, that kid is awesome. He has really set up a wonderful thing. I mean, this is brilliant. Now, it's evil. Well, I'm talking from a writer here, people. I'm a writer. I love writing some evil people. Because you got to have some evil people. So that's pretty clever. He's seriously clever. Good for him. Thumbs up to him. I liked him the best because the rest was just so bad. Who is really the bad guy in this story? By the way, thumbs up balloon saying that was good. That was really good. That's unique. I don't think I've ever seen that in a film or anything like that. Bubbles, maybe. Trying to find something in bubbles. Like the washing machine overflows. Because you put the wrong detergent in it. You put the liquid detergent that you wash dishes with. Yeah, that'll happen. The balloons were a good shot. I kind of like that. Kind of dig that. Yeah, okay, so we work on that self-defense. Okay, we'll give you that one. Okay? We'll let you have that one. The other thing, I'm really disappointed in the group of kids they were being held hostage. It's really sad, I know. And the kids, fight or flight does kick in. This is the thing. You have to go to human nature. You can't write against human nature. And fight or flight does kick in. And I know there comes a point where these kids would go into shock. Psychologically, they would go into shock and they just sit there and, do whatever the person says to do. But instinct would be like the kid who came out and tried to fight him and he gets stabbed. And I'm really impressed with Tristan. Like, who brings a knife to a gunfight? Why did he have a knife on him? But that was just, it's crazy, you know. Oh well, it worked. So Tristan played well. Actor did a really good job with what he had to work with, because all that stuff was really cheesy too. He had some cheesy lines. But anytime you're getting, does a bad guy have to wear leather? Oh, by the way, I don't know where this takes place, but I'm assuming it is now-ish. 2020-ish. In our school district, we have rules about what you can wear, and this has been going on for many years. My son graduated in 2011, and in that year, I know for sure they could not wear long coats. They could not wear they could wear a leather jacket if it was kind of like a leather jacket, but they couldn't wear like a long leather coat. Nothing long, nothing trench coaty, nothing like that. And they couldn't wear studs, I'm pretty sure, stuff like that. There were rules about, you know, hair colors, tongue piercings, weird. I think there was actually a rule about only wear earrings were in your actual ear, and that was only for girls. I mean, they were pretty tight on these rules, and even though guys did have pierced ears, they couldn't wear earrings to school. So there's a lot of rules. And in fact, when my son was, I guess he started high school, yeah, they started wearing uniforms. So there's a lot of rules, but one of the biggest rules that they started right after all these shootings took place was you could not wear a army jacket. Army jackets, no way. And the fact that she's wearing an army jacket, it went, oh, okay, why? Why are you doing that? Because, you know, when is it? So that makes you wonder, well, when is this supposed to take place? And that was a really interesting part of the story. When did this take place? Well, you know it's modern because her friend Lewis has a pretty sure that's iPhone 12. I don't know. It's one of those fancy ones, but it's a new one. And they're using new technology, you know, they're all on live and doing stuff like that. So, you know, it's modern day. But isn't it kind of ironic, and don't get me started on this one too, the lunch lady had a really old phone. Now that is a symbolic to me of that she is, you know, gets low wages and she can't afford, it's like she's got a burner phone. I don't know what she's carrying. Now, because I'm a writer, I would see using these cues to, or let me just say this, because I study writing. How about that? I can see using these cues to tell a bigger story. Like, how do you develop a character? Well, she's carrying around a cheap phone. That means she doesn't have much money to buy an iPhone 12 or whatever. So what's up now? Just tell you about the lunchroom at lunch, which is lunch, because kids are eating lunch. Why is there only one lunch lady? And why is it clean in the kitchen? My kitchen ain't clean until 3 o'clock. Something's not right there. I'm just going to say, I had to go back and watch it again. But if you watch it, if you've seen it, you might remember what I'm talking about. If you dare go watch it again, God love you. Just check on that. Leave me a comment below if I totally messed that up. Do I recommend that you watch this? Sure. Absolutely watch it, just to prove me wrong. But if you're a writer and you want to know how to write a good script, please watch it for research reasons. What not to do? You can have a henchman and he not be something out of Batman, because this is pretty much right out of Joker and then a couple of his goofy henchmen. You don't have to make these really goofy people be your henchmen. They could be kids who really, you know, yeah, no. Don't. If you're going to write an unlikable character, don't make him an unlikable character. Does that make sense? Don't give people a really lame reason. Well, why can't you like him? Why can't you like the kid that is shooting people, wants to kill everybody? Why can't you? He's a broken child. He's a brilliant child because he came up with this scheme, but he's broken, and he deserves to be loved. And he needed to be nurtured during this time of his life, and he wasn't. Just think of what he could be doing with his life today if he had not been led down the wrong path or ignored. I'm just saying. Okay, someone posted a review talking about the ending explained. You should not have to explain an ending, ever, ever. People should just know what it means. If they don't know what it means, you're writing. Don't write to that level. I'm just saying, don't ever. It's like me in teaching. I teach to the kids that are way up there, make everybody rise to the occasion. So write on the level where people have to figure it out, because that's what it's about. And you don't have to come back and explain it. All right, so talking about the ending. Yeah, she committed murder. she committed first-degree murder. You would have a really hard time if I was a juror convincing me that was not first-degree murder. She hunted him down and she shot him. He no longer posed a threat to her at that point. Yes, she was all hyped up on adrenaline or whatever. The other thing is, like, the dad shooting to save his... Gosh, don't even get me started on that scene. Yeah, I wouldn't go back and get my gun. I would have, like, torn through that barrier and just been, you know, because you would freak out. Wanting to do something like that is one thing. You know, actually doing it, when you actually go and shoot somebody, yeah, that in a way you're defending your dad. He would get off. The dad would get off. I don't know about you, but I don't know of a police car I've ever seen. Not that I go around looking at police cars. Even the dog police cars, you know, they have they have the expanded metal mesh so the dogs can have windows down and still have ventilation. I've never seen bars on a police car. Or do they, like, leave the window rolled down like that? Of course, you get hot. They'd leave the air conditioner, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they leave the air conditioner going for you? They wouldn't roll your window down. Unless they would come and talk to you. Okay, so many things wrong with this movie. I'm pretty sure that's one of them. Yeah. And the other thing, if you were a police officer and you watched this movie and you wanted to just, like, turn it off, just can't watch it, and you were triggered, it's because, yeah, you wouldn't just leave a gun sitting there as a part of the crime scene. I mean, you would immediately have some, certainly, you would not leave a gun, a loaded gun, sitting there. Just, yeah, and not have somebody watching it. At least having someone stationed there, you know, guarding it until the CSI can show up, or whatever they're called now. Yeah, I watch CSI, so I know. But the other one, what are they called now? CS something. So, yeah, that's bad. That was really stupid. And then she goes and really basically hunts this kid down and shoots him. I also found it really unbelievable that they gave you this feeling in the story when she meets him, go, oh, you? I barely know you. Who are you? You know, they really don't know each other. Yet she is in face-to-face with this guy for about 3 or 4 minutes before whatever happens. You know, I don't remember what happens. So when she takes the kid and he leaves. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Oh, my gosh. The kid, Tristan, brilliant. You're a brilliant young man. I love you. You're the best evil guy ever. Oh, you come on, people. You know you like evil guys. And anybody who's, like, really rooting for Cody Fern's character in American Horror Story, because he's so a beautiful man. He's so beautiful. Yeah, so, yeah, you can play a really good bad guy and be very likable. And so there you go. Tristan's a brilliant young man. What a waste. What a waste. Write people like that is what I'm saying. Write characters that you really walk out going, oh my gosh, who doesn't love, speaking of Die Hard, who doesn't love Hans Gruber? I mean, that is so dang evil. He's well written. He is so good. Especially, love me some Alan Rickman. The world has lost a wonderful human being. He is such a fine actor. But I love it when he switches his voice and he starts talking like this. I just love, oh my God. The man. That's some good writing and good acting. Fine acting. So that is probably why that movie has stood the test of time. It is so weirdly entertaining and not bad, pretty bad. Hey, but good bad characters. Really good bad characters. I say it's hard to say something's entertaining when you're watching people get killed. But Die Hard is one of those Christmas movies we watch. Try to watch every year. That's like our Christmas. That's like you watch Christmas Vacation and you watch The Ref. I love The Ref. And then I have to watch Die Hard. So yeah, write good characters that your readers or viewers will love. I would rather write a character that the people love more than the good guy. I think that's the greatest character, and this is one of those cases. Why it works. So she hunts him down and she shoots him and kills him, and she leaves him there to suffer. That he may not die. Yeah, he's gut shot. He probably died. I don't know. They save people from all sorts of stuff these days, and they were coming to help him. He may have lived. Oh, I hope so. I hope he lived. I want to see part 2. All right, so what would I have done differently with this movie besides, every single thing? I was trying to figure out what could I say is actually, okay, going back to what's good about this movie, best bad guy, written, very well written, that's about it, as far as characters. I just felt like Lewis was a token, you know, like you feel like you had to represent. I didn't feel, but you know what, who else would be your friend? Seriously. And I don't like that he walked in going, entering, not breaking. I thought, wow, that's tacky. Story about the mother and the dying and the girl dealing with that is its own movie. That's a beautiful story, and it should be I would call that that would win some awards. That kind of story, and I think there's other stories like that where you're suffering loss. I know that there are, and I've seen them, that there's movies where people have suffered a loss and is how they're coping with loss. But I don't think sticking it in the middle of this movie helped this movie. Kind of ruined it, actually. I mean, because you killed that story, and then it just made this person look crazy. She's insane. I mean, she's seeing things. That's psychotic. Maybe that's why she did the thing. Wait, what? This is like, what? Are these people saying this good stuff about this movie? Like, are you... So I like Rotten Tomatoes. I think we kind of are on the same page about a lot of things. I can see why they give things certain scores. I think a lot of things come out that they expected a lot more from, and this is probably one of those films, and they gave it a 33. So... And then the audience score was a 93 because they're a bunch of liars. They just lying. They just walking around and cheering at that emperor like, you look so pretty. I love your new clothes. Liars. Just a bunch of liars. Talk about your fiction writers. Let's read a few. This film was so psychological depth beyond offering up the occasional cliche. One of the shooters was bullied at school, for instance. Did you like it? I mean, what did you say? It was just top critic. I love me some Robbie Collin. It often feels like an insanely poor taste experiment. Yes. They're just, I can't read the lies. The lies. She should have been the killer. Here's how, okay, based on that, take everything that happened in the movie. Don't change a thing except the ending. Shoot the guy. I don't care. Make that the ending. But if you want to make this more an authentic teen experience movie, what a teen would think and how teens function in reality, study up on some teens, have her be fantasizing the whole thing, just sitting in class like, because this is what they do. They just sit for an hour. What are we doing? Okay. And then they're back to that. There are days, and I know this because I teach art, and I really kind of foster that in my little creative children, that they have days where they just don't feel like doing things. And I get it, but I always say, okay, if you don't feel like doing it, at least watch a video and somebody else is doing it, or do some research, or get your sketchbook out. Once you start sketching, you start drawing. So... there's a lot of moments like that when kids are just dead, brain dead. You can just see it. And so, yeah, I can see her just sitting there at the end going, and the bell rings because, you know, the teacher finished teaching the lesson. Yeah. And she's like, oh. And then the kids, like, are all there. The characters that are created in the story came from somewhere other than her imagination, you know. So Tristan's walking out the door, and the teacher's going, you didn't turn in your homework. If you don't turn in your homework, you're not going to get a grade. Just saying. And, you know, and the girl who gets shot, blown up, basically, is like sitting next to her. She's oblivious. This girl's been sitting next to her the whole, you know, school year, and she's never acknowledged her, kind of thing. Because they did it. That's big school stuff. And then, yeah, I think that would be the perfect ending. Sorry to the writer of this, whose name I'm here because I didn't look it up. I just think you missed the mark. I think you got too dramatic and not enough heartfelt. Which is kind of the interesting story about why I'm going back to Elephant on this one. And my chicken scratches for writing. They wasted a lot of time developing, just showing you all these other characters that you're supposed to connect with, right? You're supposed to care about, so when they die, it means something to you. Yeah, that didn't work. But the characters that do the shooting, oh, that's an interesting twist to it, by the way. You should watch that movie. A better twist than this one, I'm just gonna say. So if you they did a little bit of establishing, really actually a pretty good job of pretty good job of establishing what's going on in this kid's life. With some things that he's battling with. So I don't want to ruin the elephant because I want you to sit through it too. It's not that long of a film, and it's skip about halfway through. I have a note here. I think I have the minute written down even where you can skip to. I have pluses and minuses. What worked and what did. I'll tell you something that worked. I do like the conversation between girls about time. Very real, talking over each other. Okay, that was an example in the movie, this is Elephant again, where they had these 3 girls. They started out, and you can tell this kind of fake, that they were like, give them the topic and say, okay, y'all's ad lib, we're just going to film y'all talking. And they kind of get off on this really, and they start talking, and it's just kind of, you know how girls, they just can't ad lib. And all of a sudden, they fall into a real conversation, and it's great. And it's just very well done. And they start talking over each other in a natural way, which I liked. I thought that was really good. If you've ever been I've been in a play where you had to talk over another character, or y'all had to like talk, you know, where it was so tight that you were pretty much talking over each other, and you have to time it, and you have to practice that more than any other lines, because to make it sound real, like you're really doing it. And so what I've done, and I think I do that. I said, look, just start talking, and I'll start talking, and we'll figure it out. And that's how it works. You know your lines. You'll start saying your lines. I'll start saying mine. You try to react and talk at the same time. Yeah, it's a gift. So, yeah, people will talk over each other in real life. They did a little, they had a lot of gratuitous shots that I didn't like. I didn't think were necessary. Like they had the girls, after they were talking and they ate dinner, they had bulimia in the bathroom. I didn't appreciate that. I thought that was just pointless. I mean, if you're going to do a movie on bulimia, do a movie on bulimia, but don't throw it in the middle of this one just to prove what? I don't know. I love this. I have a note that says, I'm so confused. And I said, just when you think the story is finally getting started, it cuts to an evening storm scene. Oh, yes. This has way too many establishing shots. So if you're a screenwriter, knock it off with the establishing shots. They don't have to be 5 minutes long. Yeah, they were really lengthy. They were ridiculous. They really didn't apply to anything. I'm going to say this. I think that they had some kind of artistic thing going, like a storm was brewing. Okay, moving on. I'm so confused. Breakfast scene, 2 boys watching Nazi newsreel, propaganda film. Yeah, you know, white supremacy. Something is delivered. It's a gun in a white box, semi-automatic, no earplugs. Oh my gosh. Hunting scene. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about you people up north, because I'm just saying, I'm here in the south, we wear headsets or earplugs. Got these fancy earplugs that are just for shooting. And so when you get the loud sound, it like protects your ears. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I don't usually talk really loud. You may have to wear some of those just to hear me talk. Yeah. They do this scene where they're hunting and they're not wearing any kind of ear protection. Or unless they're wearing those really expensive earplugs. I didn't do any research on the young men who actually were doing the shootings in real life, and what was going on in their backstories, and why, you know, I understand the concept of being picked on. This kid was picked on in Elephant, definitely a picked on kid by the other kids in class. They show a scene about that. And anyway, so they do all, like I said, and which, you know what, does it matter? I mean, is every person who was picked on go back and shoot people, or just like, you don't get the impression that Tristan was picked on? He was just evil. Just evil kid. Brilliant. Yeah, there's a twist at 1 hour and 2 minutes. There's a twist to this story, so you better watch a little bit before that to figure it out. Okay, here's a good example. This is a good example of cliche. They have Benny, who is an African American, and you know he's an athlete because he's got cut off sleeves and got a bulk. It's just, really? It's like, just put I'm an athlete cliche written on their shirt and send them out there. It's just bad stuff. Oh, there was a pretty interesting thing that they did at the beginning. Okay, one of the characters has a lifeguard jacket on at school. Why would you wear a lifeguard jacket to school? It's little moments like that, but it's kind of interesting because you know that kid's a good kid. And he saves lives. He's awesome, and he has a job. He has a summer job. He's all good. See, and that's really all you need to connect. You didn't need all this yet. The kid was a photographer. a bunch of people that they spend a lot of time on, and you're like, why? Once again, good points for Elephant. A lot of ad lib. Kids did a great job. They just really they just talked to each other, and they talked like teenagers talk. That's a plus for Elephant, a minus for Run, Hide, Fight, because they did not speak like teenagers talk. I hear them talking all the time. That is not how they talk. I even like my son who is very intelligent. He doesn't wax poetic very often. He just, he talks about stuff. He's brilliant. And he's just like, wow, knows stuff. But he, it just delivers it in such a way that you can tell he's a teenager. But not anymore, he's in his 20s. I'm just saying. Benny, it looks like a young John Cusack, is my notes. That's a Elephant. Yeah, don't waste your time. It's, you know what? Yeah, if you're a filmmaker, watch Elephant. Because if you're a low budget filmmaker, watch Elephant. You're going to learn what works and what doesn't work very quickly. Long establishing shots, dragging out character, identifying characters for no apparent reason. Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of why it didn't work. So, make a movie. Write a script. Write a book. But make great characters. Make very complicated, awesome characters, and do not spoon feed your reader or your viewer. Anyway, thanks for watching the delete key, and remember, a real writer knows when to hit the delete key. Thanks for watching.